My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Pisces. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot, and for this evening, I'm going to be doing your general love reading, your 5-card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these 24 red roses as a token of my love and appreciation for your love, support, and devotion towards my channel. And thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful evening as well. So this 5-card love reading includes how the first card represents you, the second the other person, the third the relationship, fourth the past, fifth the future. Then I'm going to draw a Vampire Oracle for you, and then Favoli and one card from the French tarot deck of the Tarot Interdit Vampiria. Well, let's start off with card number 1 for you, and you get Emperor. Yeah, you come across as a very strong, very authoritative individual, but you could also be somebody that yearns for a relationship based off of structure. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're the one that actually creates structure. Maybe you're the one that actually is like the homemaker, the one that, and that pretty much just kind of keeps everybody grounded, love, supportive, stuff like that, because you're a very loving and supportive sign on so many levels. I mean, my goodness, how romantic you guys all are. So, but I feel like that this is very like this strong, passionate card. But let's look at the single ones because it's something, that you probably have within you. I mean, of course, a lot of humans, whenever they think of the word or the zodiac sign Pisces, they pretty much just only picture a goldfish. But what? You could also be a megalodon. You could be a great white shark. You could be big blue whale, killer whale, dolphin, what have you. So I feel like that, a lot of people, they might even, if they know you, they probably know how strong and passionate you are on so many levels. But if you're in a current relationship, maybe you still crave, some kind of like structure, maybe, because structure also creates trust. And when you trust somebody, then you actually feel incredibly comfortable with them and not feel like, oh goodness, this person can go either way, right? Because if you want to be in a partnership relationship, you want to know that you can trust whoever you're currently with or courting and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see who the other person is or could be. Chariot. Okay. Cancer, one of your brother, sister, water signs. But let's look at the Pisces just before, we head off towards the other person. Is I see that you do have this motivation and drive. Maybe you do want to create structure. Maybe you do want to create this, this rules and regulations, where you everything, that because the thing is structure creates a sense of balance, but it also creates trust. If you actually, maybe occasionally like put like certain rules, to say, I want to be with you and stuff like that, but yeah, but if I can trust you, can I count on you to do a couple of these things and stuff like that? And if the other person says, sure, why not? I'll love you unconditionally, blah blah blah. But it could also be how this person could also be heading away from, because maybe if you come across as a bit too dominant in the sense by saying, well, I would like to see this and this and that change and stuff like that. The other person could also be running away and say, whoa, it's like all of these rules and regulations and restrictions are kind of, more or less, making me really unhappy and stuff like that. So that's one angle. But it could also be how this person sees you as a very authoritative father figure in the sense that this person just wants to also, will be loved and nurtured and supported in other ways as well. And maybe that's what inspired this person want to head towards you as well. Because relationship, 10 of Pentacles. So maybe you just have this happy home, happy earth, happy family. So congratulations on achieving that desired goal and outcome. But it could also be that you just have so much courage and strength within you either way. So I feel like that could be all of the above, or maybe just confidence and courage. Because maybe, it's like if you're in a singlehood position and, it's like maybe you do come across as like this real strong, passionate individual. Maybe you are like a boss type. Maybe you are a rich, successful individual. Maybe you have like this big, lavish house and lifestyle and stuff like that. And maybe that's what motivated this person to want to head off towards you as well. But either way, I feel like that this relationship, especially with the happy home, happy earth, happy family, is a very beautiful reading so far. Because in the past, you got Page of Wands. So I feel like with the pages, whether it's Page of Wands, Cups, Pentacles, or Swords, as these are based off of going out on a journey. And the thing is maybe you had to go out on personal journeys. Maybe you actually had to create this sense of identity of coming across as being the Emperor, because maybe you had to do a lot of self-improvement, self-development. Maybe you had to work incredibly hard, what have you, in other ways. But anyway, it just showed that you just actually pursued other people, or you went out on this personal singlehood voyage to achieve this top-tier, strong, passionate individual person who you've become. Because in the future, though, you do get Six of Swords. So maybe, it's like, since you've done a lot of self-development, self-correction, self-healing, self-recovery, what have you in other ways, what I do see is that there's some kind of movement taking place in your future as well. Now, normally in the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see two humans in the Six of Swords on a raft heading off towards a certain direction. So maybe, it's like this person could also be beyond attracted to you, and maybe you both love each other. But if you do have like a sense of richness, like Ten of Pentacles, you want to make sure that this person is not motivated by you because you come across as being this rich individual. Of course, unless that's what you enjoy and stuff like that. But personally, I think, a good partnership is based off of trust and stuff like that. And if you want to actually be the one to create and establish a sense of, that you could trust this person, then you'll know that and that if they actually love you for who you are, that they would not just think, okay, I love you because you're in a Ten of Pentacles lifestyle. Because Oracle wants to say free will, sovereignty, independence, and free spirit. So maybe you come across as like this king or queen of whoever. But just remember is that you'll always have free will to decide on whatever you want. If you want to actually just be in this eternal bachelor or bachelorette and stuff like that, 100% your prerogative and stuff like that. If you want to actually come across as Ten of Pentacles, congratulations. If you want to be seen as the emperor, the one that takes control and charge of the situation, 100% your prerogative, do whatever you want. But if you want to have a sense of independence and free spirit, I would always also look at that angle as well, not just constantly feel the need to be in relationships or companionships and stuff like that. But of course, to each their own. But if you just want to actually just think, yep, I'm the one who's, in control and charge and stuff like that, just remember that you'll always have free will to decide on whichever direction you want to head off towards. Because Favole wants to continue with, okay. Eight of Wands. So there's definitely some fast movement on this way. Maybe you're going to be doing a lot of traveling. Maybe you're going to be traveling to meet your future companion or spouse in other ways. Maybe you and your current spouse or family or companion are going to be going out on beautiful journeys, traveling and stuff like that. But I feel like that there's, if you want to have free, will and spirit, then I would sometimes go out on personal journeys like you've already done. So if you would prefer to be in like a single head position where you're the one going out on single solo journeys, and you're the one who's in control and charge of the situation, you have the Ten of Pentacles, you have this motivations drive, and now you're just going to walk away from it all so you can go out on personal more journeys with the Eight of Wands as well. And just remind yourself that you should always have, independence, free will and be a free spirit either way. Because the thing is why should you have to settle down just like with the general public? If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. Not everybody is going to be, jumping for joy at the fact that people are going to be proposing to you, right? So let's see what the French Tarot deck wants to finish off with. Éclaireur de Pieux. So I feel like that, this is practically based off of the Page of Wands. So if you're in a singlehood position, if you want to be a bachelor or bachelorette, do whatever you want because, free spirit and being, and having free will is very important on so many ways, just so you can actually have a sense of freedom and stuff like that to choose who you want to be and who you want to be with and stuff like that. Because, it's like, I feel like that this reading is mostly based off of how you want to be the one in control of the situation. Not that there's ever anything wrong with wanting to have that sense of control and structure in your life. Because the thing is let's say that you've been through enough negative divorces and breakups, stuff like that. Then, I just think, okay, these are really good, ways to maybe create, your own sense of power. Maybe this is your, your salary, all the money that you've accumulated, you love, going out on single solo journeys. You love just going out into the big blue ocean, just exploring new, journeys, because this could also be you, with so much motivation on wanting to head off towards, the Eight of Wands and of more traveling and stuff like that as well. But this is definitely, having maybe a personal journey on healing, recovering, or maybe, it's like Well, you're going to be actually embarking on this new journey on heading towards new romance and relationships in the future as well. So I feel like that today's reading is kind of a bit of a general note because, of course, all my readings are general, so they're not, focused unless they pretty much do resonate with any of you out in this world. But other than that, always just remember that you'll have free will either way, and maybe just go out on journeys. Maybe you're going to be, traveling abroad or overseas to meet, your future spouse or companion and stuff like that as well. Sad but true, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now. But if this reading resonated for my Pisces placements, please feel free to join us. Subscribe to my channel for more vampire tarot, Dracula, and more, vampire stories. Because here's the thing with my human familiar told me is that, the current, Dracula, that's being filmed right now and stuff like that. Apparently, it's kind of showing up in different locations during different time frames and stuff like that, or even, locations in other ways. Because apparently, this movie came out last summer, July, in Europe and stuff like that, and it's not going to show up till like February in the United States, and it's still kind of, showing in different locations, maybe in a few weeks or months and stuff like that. So I'm going to throw in a couple of Dracula stories every so often then. I'm also going to be talking a bit more about the historical accuracies because the movie did not portray that many good accuracies about Vlad the Impaler or even Dracula for that matter as well. But other than that, I want to thank you all so much for joining me in this very beautiful, calm, relaxed evening. I want to wish you all the best of luck on where this journey may take you. But as per usual, take excellent good care of yourselves.